Hi, hello, welcome to a new episode of the Breibelly Knitting Podcast. My name is Isabel. I'm a Belgian knitter and knitwear designer, and I'm very excited to talk to you today about my knitting. I have some finished objects, I have some works in progress, and I also have some new ideas and new yarn which I'd like to talk to you about. Today is the perfect opportunity to record this episode because I'm doing a lot of gift knitting lately. So, knitting for others on items that I won't keep for myself. And at this time, they are still here. So, I can show you before they leave the house and before I can, now I can still admire them. For instance, this one. But this one will be gifted on Sunday to his new owner. And well, perfect opportunity to make a new episode. What has changed since last episode? Well, I launched the test call for the Striata Sweater. This is my newest design. You might have seen it because I mentioned it in other episodes and also on my Instagram page, which is Breibelly. Well, I also made a little short movie here on my YouTube channel, but I already deleted it because there are only a few spots left for sizes 2XL up to 5XL. So a lot of spots are already taken, and that's why I put the video offline. But you can still find all the informations on Yarn Pond. You can find that through the link on my Instagram page as well, Breibelly, or through yarnpond.com. There you can find the application form. So if you want to apply, feel free. You can also hear me talk about this sweater in previous episodes, so I will not repeat all the details about this one, but I'm very excited about the test knits. The first test knitters have chosen their yarn, and they have made a little bit of progress on the yoke already. So I'm so excited to see all their yarn and color choices, and the pattern will be released by the end of November if everything goes well. So stay tuned if you're interested in this sweater. Well, what am I wearing today? This is my Elation Shawl. This is one of the shawls that I'm wearing a lot. It's a design by Hanna from Herb Garden Knitwear. She's one of my favorite designers, as you might tell from previous episodes. It's in 100% silk mohair, and it's held 3 strands double on 4mm needles. As you hold 3 strands, it's easy to create like a color fade, as in each section you can switch one of the yarns in a different color, and so you have a gradual color change throughout the shawl. I had seen Hanna's version and I fell in love immediately. She didn't work with different strands of different colored balls of silk mohair, but she had a specific yarn which had the color fade in the skeins itself. So that's also an option if you would like to make this one. So if you have a specific yarn which changes colors in the skein, then you can do that as well. For me, this was a very interesting project because I really love yarn sales, as everyone, I guess. And I had recently bought like 7 skeins or 6 skeins of silk mohair, and they were all the last ones from how do you say that, a colored bath, is that the English way to say it? and by Julia's, that's a yarn shop in Antwerp, and sometimes she puts like a big promotion, like buy these 7 skeins. They're all different colors, but you can get them for a very good price. And that's what I did. So I had all these different gorgeous silk mohair balls, and of course didn't know what to make with them. And this project was perfect. I did incorporate some scraps as well from other colors that I still had left in my stash. But yeah, I really like the effects. How is it worked? So you start with a garter tab. That means that you cast on 3 stitches. You work 15 or 20, I don't remember, rows in garter stitch, and then you pick up stitches along the edge of that little garter stitch, and then you continue working like this, making increases along the sides, and that way you create, your rows get longer and longer, and you create this beautiful crescent shaped scarf or shawl. In the end, then Hanna created a ruffle by making a lot of increases in this row here, and then you can work your ruffle for a couple of centimeters or an inch probably, and then you have to bind off. I do have to say that the bind off process was a real challenge, because I don't remember how many stitches I had to bind off, but it was a lot. I even remember that while doing the bind off, I was thinking, never again. But then I finished it, and I tried it on, and yeah, I like it so much. So I don't think this will be the last time I'm working a shawl like this. So I've been wearing this a lot. It's also super soft, not itchy at all for me, so I'm really happy with it. I even wore it this week at work. I had an oral test in front of a commission of people I didn't know before who would sit there. It was I was very nervous before, and then I wore my Elation Shawl, and it gave me some confidence, and the test went very well. So might be because of my shawl. No, don't think so, but it does suit me when I get to wear my knits in these kinds of nervous situations. So that was everything about my Elation Shawl. I will also share all the information about the yarn and the designers and the patterns in the notes below. So another finished object is this beautiful bright blue balloon sweater, which I finally finished. This is a balloon sweater. This is a design by Petite Knit. I will wear it. And I made it for my sister-in-law, Tim's sister Anke. She got to choose the design from the website by Petite Knit, and she got to choose the color, and I was very happy with her color choice, as this bright blue is really fantastic. I also mentioned this one in my previous episode. So let me show you. Yeah, I'm very happy with the results. She hasn't tried it on yet, so I'm not wearing it, obviously, to keep it pretty, keep the yarn pretty. But on Sunday she will come over, and then she can try it on and take it with her. Well, and I hope she will enjoy it a long time. This yarn also is such a dream. It's Jawoll the sock yarn by Lamana Yarns combined with a strand of silk-mohair. Silk-mohair I used is by Veritas. That's a Dutch yarn brand or a store which sells yarn, but also other things. I'm not a big fan of all their yarn qualities, but their silk-mohair is very qualitative, in my opinion. I'm very happy with it. So the softness of this is so much fun to knit on. And so I decided after working on this one that I'm a huge fan of the combination of a strand of merino and a strand of silk-mohair. It's obviously not the most budget-friendly knitting, but yeah, as I really like sales, this silk-mohair I also bought in a sale. For instance, I always have some silk-mohair lying around as I can't resist a good sale. So yeah, it might work. So this is a finished object. Now I feel like talking about my newest design because it's worked in the same yarn combination and it was inspired by the yarn of the balloon sweater. So this is my newest design, which I'm working on. And so this is also worked in a strand of merino fingering weight with a strand of silk-mohair. And this is very beautiful hand-dyed yarn. This one is from Wooliette in the colorway Nude Rosé. I had bought this for my Winter Waves sweater, a sweater I made last year. It was a test knit, and that sweater was made with a strand of merino fingering weight and 2 strands of silk-mohair, so it had a very fluffy effect. But I totally miscalculated how much of the merino fingering weight I would need for that. I bought 3 skeins too many. So the good news about that is that yeah, it was a complete sweater quantity that I had left to make a new project. So I was thinking about a beautiful colorway which I could combine with this one, and I found this colorway from Ladybug Yarn. As you can tell, it has also the soft pink tones and then the bright yellow neon, which I love, and also some little grayish tones in it. So I saw it online. It was a very hard decision. I spent a lot of time browsing for the perfect combination with this one. I was dreaming about a variegated yarn. My first idea was not to use this bright neon, but then whenever I see a project with neon colors in it, it totally triggers me. So I saw this and I thought, okay, this might turn out very, very beautifully, or it was like a case from love it or hate it in my mind. Also bought it online, so it was on a skein, so you couldn't really see how it would work out. But then I swatched and I started working the sweater, and turns out that I really love it. So I was very, very, very happy with how this knits up. I didn't alternate the skeins. I did consider doing that, but I actually don't mind a bit of color pooling. I've seen this done with, for example, the Wandering Flock. That's a yarn brand, and they even call it like a pool party when you knit something with a lot of color pooling, and it's really I really love that. So I thought I wouldn't mind if there was a lot of color pooling. Now for now there isn't. I just started the second skein of the silk mohair. There isn't I don't see any color changes or not very obvious differences in color. So I really like how it's now. I am wondering if the sleeves, because then you knit on a very small circumference, if the sleeves will be different. So if the neon pools will be distributed differently on the sleeves than they are on the body. We'll see, but I don't think I will mind. As you can see, the yoke construction, it is a little bit similar to that of the Striata top and the Striata Sweater, my two previous designs. And it is also inspired by that. When I was working on this yoke construction, I thought, hey, how cool would it be if I made a brioche edition? So that's what I did. I think it's not a very clear Striata signature that it holds, and I'm also not sure if I will give this sweater the Striata name. I'm thinking about choosing the name, which is also the name of the silk-mohair colorway, which is called Sunbeam. I thought maybe to call this the Sunbeam Sweater, as I really like that name. And yeah, so the increases are made in a similar way than with the Striata designs. There's also a double folded neckband, but I didn't add the pearl row, as you can see with the other designs, because I thought it would be lovely to have this one a bit more rounded. The neckband is also worked in a needle size that's 1 millimeter smaller than the needle size for the sweater. So this one is on 3 millimeter needles, and the sweater itself is worked on 4 millimeter needles, as the brioche stitch creates a bit of a bigger ribbing than a normal rib stitch. I really like the contrast between the neckline and the yoke. And similarly, I'm planning to work the cuffs and the hem also with 3 millimeter needles in a broken rib stitch. I'm also considering working a split hem, like you can find also on the Striata top and Striata sweater. So a split hem which is a bit longer at the back side. As this sweater is a bit chunky, I'm planning on making a bit of a bigger difference between the front and the back sides. Anyway, I wasn't sure if I would have enough yarn for this. I have 3 skeins from each yarn, and I'm working a size small, but it's pretty obvious that I will have enough yarn because these are only the second skeins. So I thought this brioche stitch would devour the yarn very quickly, but no, that seems to be fine, which is a good thing, of course. So we'll see how this one grows, and looking forward to finish a sleeve, as that will give a better idea on the total overall look. But yeah, we'll see. Stay tuned if you're interested in this sweater, because I will launch a test knit call whenever pattern writing is done. I'm also working on another design of my own. As you might remember from the first episode, I haven't shown you this one since then, but this is the Pauline Cowl, it's called, and it's a cowl worked in the rounds on sock yarn by Marianthi Yarns, and this is a hand-dyed yarn which I fell in love with immediately when I saw it online. I really love the speckled yarn in combination with, there are 10 mini skeins with it in these different rainbow colors, and it immediately inspired me to make a cowl. It has to grow a lot, But so this will be a cowl worked as a tube, and then as it's got a provisional cast on, then you can, no, here's the provisional cast on, of course. You can, once that you reach the right length, and the right length will be another time around normally, then you can join both ends. And I'm planning on joining them with a twist, so that you, when you wear the cowl, that it's got a nice twist to it. And it's a beautiful, lovely, colorful palette which you create. It's not very hard to knit. It also grows pretty fast as it's not super wide. So it's very nice to knit on, but I have been neglecting it a bit the last couple of weeks. So I really should pick it up again. What's special about it is this little lace detail. So, and as you make increases and decreases around the sides of the lace detail, you create these waves in the colors. And as something I also like about designs, knitting designs, is when you got some freedom to choose, like you work a length, you just look at it and you see, oh, now it's time to integrate a new color, and then you can choose, oh, I will make a white stripe now, or now I will make a thin stripe. And that's also, I really enjoy it. It keeps me entertained. And yeah, so probably in the pattern there will be some you will get some freedom to choose how long you make your cowl. And this is also a perfect project for scrap yarn. So but as I'm working on these two designs and the Striata Sweater, of course, and I'm limited in time and have a lot of other whips, it forces me to make some priorities. And as a designing process is very slow because it takes some weeks to finish your own projects, then it always takes me some weeks to write the pattern, get it through tech editing, and then it takes like for example, for a Striata Sweater, 7 or 8 weeks to get the test knit done, and then you can publish your pattern. So as it's a very slow process, and as the seasons are very short when you consider these time frames, I really have to make good priorities. And then I think this sweater, which is very wintry, I think I should prioritize on this one. The test knit period will be a lot longer for this one. It has a lot of different sizes, whether this cowl is only available in one size. So if I have a couple of preview knitters, then it's actually good to publish. So as this one is a quicker project, I'm going to focus on this one, so I hopefully can release it during winter time, as then it will get some more response or views. Well, that was it about my own knitting designs. I'm also doing a test knit myself, and the project is almost finished. This is one of the gift knits I've been talking about. Where did I put it? One moment. It was here somewhere. Can't find it. And as I still don't know how to edit my videos, I won't cut this piece out of it. I guess because I really don't know how to do it. And the project was just lying behind my camera, so right into my view but I didn't see it. So this is the little test knit I was talking about. It's so cute. This is the Tille Cardigan. Look, this is the back side. Look at the lace. I really like this. It was such a fun, quick knit. It's a little cardigan for a baby, for a little baby girl called Fran. And I needed a little baby gift, so I hope I can give it to her soon. This is a test knit for Leen by Bout de Chou Knits. It's a Belgian designer and it's her first design, so it was also her first test knit. And yeah, I saw it and I thought, well, this is perfect for the baby gifts I wanted to make. Baby cardigans are also perfect to use up some stash yarn. So I only needed like 1.5 skein of, this one is Borgo de Panzi Supersoft Cashmere. And yeah, it was quick, it's fun, it's super soft. And this is the smallest size. This is 9 to 12 months. So the cardigan comes in larger sizes, kids sizes, but it's not for newborns, for example. The only thing that I have left is adding the buttons, and I don't really have the perfect buttons. I feel like in the area where I live, there's not a very good store with a lot of nice little buttons. So I might have to go online, but then of course it's a bit tricky. It's best that you can try them on. If they don't fit through the buttonholes or they're way too small, yeah, then that might be an issue. But of course, a little button is never lost and can also be used for a future project. So it's worked in a very classic construction, top down, not in the round, of course, as it's a little cardigan. And this beautiful lace is added. So it was very entertaining. You had some plain stockinette knitting combined with the entertaining lace. And I think in three evenings I finished this one on my beloved 3.5mm needles. Those are really my favorite. So we still have to add the buttons and then create my Ravelry project for Leen. And then I hope she has a successful pattern release of this little cardigan. The test knit runs through, or the deadline at least is mid-October. So I guess the pattern release will be planned for the weeks afterwards. So that was my little Tille cardigan. Very cute design. So that was a nearly finished object. Then what else am I working on? If I want to show you my next whip, I will first show you some new acquisitions because I'm using a new yarn, and for that I went 2 weeks ago. I went to Brussels to meet a friend from Instagram, a knitting friend, Lotta from Made by Lotta. She was visiting Brussels. She's a German knitter, and we sometimes chat and talk, and we follow each other on Instagram. She was in Brussels, so she invited me and Nathalie from Knitaly to go and have a sip and knit in a bar called Sip and Knit in Brussels. I'd never been there before, and it's a very beautiful yarn shop. They don't sell the classical commercial brands of yarn, but only more exclusive hand-dyed yarns, and also all the accessories they have are either handmade or yeah, very special or intricate, or yeah, it was a very beautiful shop. And we spent a lovely afternoon over there. it was also very funny because they both test knitted the Striata top and they were both wearing their tops, and I also wore mine. So we were the three of us in our Striata tops. It was like a Striata top party. Some of the yarn that was available at Sip and Knit was a beautiful unspun yarn, which is called Manchelopis, which I hadn't seen before in a yarn store. They definitely don't sell this here in my area. And I bought 3 plates in 3 different colorways. So I'm really intrigued with these unspun yarns. It creates such a soft and warm fabric, and it really smells very sheepy, so you can really tell it's not very processed. Of course it is dyed, but yeah, as it's unspun, it looks very natural. If you don't know this type of yarn, then I will have to warn you, because before knitting it, or if it's your first time working with this yarn, it's very, very fragile, as you can tell. Look, oops, it breaks like this. The Manchelopis, it is already winded on the plates as a double strand, which is pretty useful because a lot of the patterns with this unspun yarn use a double strand. So, and also the pattern which I'm making uses a double strand, so now it comes in very handy. Not really sure what I'm gonna do, if I want to keep it single or if I want to pair it with a different kind of yarn, like a silk-mohair, for example. Then I think it might really get yeah, how do you say it, get a bit chaotic, and like this is a yarn which you really cannot how do you say that, untangle, because yeah, it's so fragile. So not sure about that. This wasn't my first experience with unspun yarn. Last year I already made a hat in unspun yarn, the monument hat, also by Hanna from her garden knitwear. And for that I had some Plotulopi in my stash, which is another brand of unspun yarn. It's an Icelandic brand. So now I have the Manchelopis and the Plotulopi. I have 4 plates of this one. This one feels a bit more rough than the Manchelopis. This one is a bit softer. The Plotulopi is, yeah, a little less soft, but yeah, still agreeable to me. And this one is winded in a single strand. So the hat which I made with it, the monument hat last year, is really a very nice hat, very warm, very warm and lightweight. Also, what I like about it is that the stitches blend together very nicely because of the fluff from the unspun yarn. So I have 4 plates of these blue ones. I'm not really sure what to make with them. I thought that it would be too little to make like a proper sweater out of it, but now I've been watching some podcast episodes about unspun yarn, and apparently you can make a lot out of 4 plates, so it might be enough to knit a sweater single-strandedly, for example. But for now, the first project I cast on with it are these mittens. These are the Tigra mittens by Bella from 100 Acre Wool. She's also a podcaster. She's a podcaster and a designer and a spinner. She does a lot of fiber arts. I really enjoy her content. And And she is really, she talks a lot about unspun yarns. So that was what got me intrigued also with this. This one is a mitten, also a gift knit for one of my colleagues. I work in a team, I work in HR, and we have a team with 6 colleagues, me included. And I suggested to the 5 other colleagues that I would knit them something for winter, and they got to choose between like a small project. I'm not gonna make 5 sweaters, but like mittens or socks or a cowl or a headband. And Hedy, one of my colleagues, she liked the mittens, and I showed her the Tigra mitten design on Ravelry. She really liked it. So this is the first gifts coming up. So it's worked in a double strand. I thought, oh, mittens, easy peasy, I've been there, done that. But then I found out that these are worked top down and also thumb down. So you need to use a special cast on technique, and then you have to work them top down. It's pretty logical, of course, because if not, you cannot create this wheat grass stitch, she calls it. So it's strands of yarn pulled through, and because of the unspun yarn, this creates a very beautiful effect, in my opinion. So it's worked top down, then thumb down, and then you have to add, get these together. There's still a hole here, which I have to fix. And I have to admit that I didn't really follow the pattern on the attachment of the thumb. I started to read it and then I thought, oh no, this really needs my attention. And then I thought, well, I'm just gonna attach it the way I think it will be right. And it worked pretty well. So gonna do the same with the second mitten. So I'm now at this stage. If you're not used to working with unspun yarn and now you're thinking like, oh, but how do you do it when the yarn is so fragile? Well, it only is fragile when you pull it from pretty far apart. So when you pull it here, then you can really put a lot of force on it before it breaks. So when it's on your needle and you have to, for example, make one right, and you have to force your needle into the stitch, then it won't break. So it's not that you have to knit very carefully, you just have to be very careful when you're sitting in your sofa and then you're pulling the strand, because and even when you pull it and it breaks, it's not a very big deal because you can easily just glue them together again. So you just do this and then you continue knitting. So that's really not a big issue when it breaks, but you have to be careful. So I now completed 1.5 mittens, and you can barely tell from the plate. So this is how it looks now. This is how it looked in the beginning. Oh no, when I see it like that, you can definitely tell. But as you can see, I can make some other projects with this one. Yeah, I'm really happy with how much yarn you get, and also this is not a very expensive yarn. I think this cost me €7 for one plate. So, and I get a pair of mittens out of it and maybe another 2 pairs as well. So yeah, it's a very lovely yarn. So these were my acquisitions and the mittens I've shown you. Now I'm looking around to see what else I have here. Well, I have gifts to knit for the other 4 colleagues as well. One of the colleagues, she wants to have a cowl in a synthetic yarn because wool is too hard on her skin. So I bought this one in a sale at my local yarn store where I also give knitting workshops. It's a very easy knit. I just cast on some stitches in the round and I'm making a little cowl. My colleague, she really loves this fluffy yarn and she really loves the color as well. I thought, oh, this is gonna be like an easy, quick project, but then I'm really not used to working with these bigger needles and this fluffy yarn. And so I don't really get into my usual knitting flow while working on it. So it's really strange because obviously there's a lot of more work into these, but I enjoy making these a lot more than I enjoy making a simple cowl. Apparently, I didn't know that would be the case. For the other three colleagues, I did some suggestions for patterns and I also made a bag with yarn from my stash, which might give them some inspiration. So I have, for example, these skeins from Cowgirl Blues, which I really love. It's a really lovely yarn brand. I bought these also in a sale, but no idea what to do with them. This mystery skein, which I bought once, obviously, but I don't remember what it is. I also found this. This is a hand-dyed tweed DK by Kiezgarn, a German dyer. This might be a good hat, for example, maybe combined with a strand of silk-mohair. I have this one, for example. This is also Lis by Veritas. If I combine these, this might be a very beautiful hat. Then what else do I have? I have this beautiful self-striping yarn for socks, maybe. I also have this one left from a sale and I thought I might combine these two and that might make beautiful mittens or a hat, for example. Well, we'll see what they will pick and then I know what to do, how to fill my evenings. Okay, so I guess there's only one more project I would like to discuss with you, and I already briefly showed it to you, or I showed the yarn to you last episode, but now I really I'm feeling very eager to cast on, so I wanted to show you the Scout Shawl pattern, which I showed you the yarn for last week. This is the Scout Shawl by Florence Spurling Designs, and from the moment I saw it, I really loved it immediately. This is such a beautiful design. And as last year, I made the Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West, the Twists and Turns shawl, which is also worked in different compartments. I saw this and I thought, oh, this is very interesting because it just never gets boring. You always get to a new, how do you say that? A new section, and then it totally changes. You switch colors, you switch charts, and the result is also super beautiful. I bought a shawl bundle from La Bien-Aimée. That's the yarn which is also suggested by the pattern. These are merino singles by La Bien-Aimée. It's a really gorgeous yarn. This is the first time I'm buying La Bien-Aimée. It was because they did a promotion for free shipping. The only thing I noticed when they arrived was that there's not a lot of contrast between these two pink skeins. But now when I'm reading the pattern, yeah, there shouldn't be a high contrast between all of the skeins because they will not be used in the same sections. So I have a lot of things on my needles, but I'm pretty sure that this weekend I will yield and I will cast on this shawl, and I can't wait to see how it goes. I guess I will, this project will take me a lot of time, so we'll see when I can finish it. Well, that was it. Those were all the projects I wanted to talk about today. I wonder if you have any questions for me or any remarks on the things I've shown today. If you enjoy this podcast, please let me know or subscribe. If you have any suggestions or there's information missing or you would like to know more about certain things, please let me know as well. I'm super thankful for your comments and the views the videos get. I really enjoy making this podcast, and I hope I can share some more with you in a next episode. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.